Off and running.
Recording.
Recording on Christmas Eve.
Chaz, it is December 23rd. We're in person.
Can't believe it.
A rarity.
When was the last time we were in person?
Maybe a month?
Oh, yeah.
3 weeks at least.
At least we keep our Iron Man streak alive. Come distance, come hell, come high water.
Come holiday.
We get the podcast out.
Come holiday. It's Christmas week and then obviously New Year's next week. Are you in town next week?
I sure am.
Okay,
Are
cool.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah, not rushing up. Feels kind of good not to be rushing somewhere.
I agree.
Yeah.
It allows you to enjoy the season a little bit more.
It's true, but I realized on the way up today how I think there might be real gaps in my gift repertoire.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I'm trying to remember what I got people. Like wife is okay, but there's others in the orbit.
Meaning you already wrapped it, so you forgot and you can't check?
I can't really remember what there is. You know, I mean, the whole gift buying thing, and especially when you're buying for children between two people, right?
Yeah.
The wife and I. And so what did she get exactly? And what exactly have I gotten, right? Is there just going to be a giant gap of kid gets like 2 gifts because both of us thought, you know, we were getting more?
There's a modern invention called a list. Oh. And you just write things down.
And then tick them off.
Check mark.
That would have been a good idea.
Boom. You're
that
welcome.
would have been a
for
good
next season.
idea. Next season, I won't have this problem.
Yeah, I absolutely make a list and then check mark it and then check mark it again once it's wrapped and under the tree.
Okay, so then you know everything's there.
Yep.
Who was it that got presents stolen from their home? Was that?
I have no clue.
Oh, it was Robert De Niro, I think. I had presents
Recently?
stolen. Yeah, like a couple days ago.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, I had presents stolen from my home when I was a kid. Woke up Christmas morning, went down. They didn't steal all the presents, so unwrapped some, and then the folks were like, wait, what? And then like checking the basement, like did we wrap and hide and forget? And then some fighting, like you misplaced it.
Right.
And then
Blame.
the realization that,
Was there evidence of somebody having broken in?
no, but there was like enough missing where it was like an honest to goodness, Christmas robbery.
Can you imagine a worse criminal?
Yeah, stealing Christmas presents.
From kids.
From kids under the tree.
Candy from a baby, essentially.
Yep, exactly.
That's awful.
So Robert De Niro, the people who stole from him, I guess that's not so bad.
They knew who he was. They knew it was going to be expensive gifts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fine.
Maybe so.
Fine stuff.
Maybe so. That's still despicable, I would say.
Yeah.
I found myself on the drive up missing 2020. Like, remember when? No Christmas caroling.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's emitting too much breath on the people.
Yep.
So, okay, that's canceled.
Yep.
No going out to restaurants. We went and looked at Christmas lights it wasn't even the weekend. It was Monday, I think.
In COVID or now?
No, just this week.
Just got packed.
And then tried to go to eat afterwards. One restaurant, it was a 2-hour wait. Next restaurant, 3-hour wait.
Boom.
I was like, what?
2020.
Take me back to 2020 where there was zero obligation. Any gift, I order on Amazon and have it sent directly to your house. I'm not even going to touch it. Never going to have to wrap it.
Never going to look at it.
Better times.
Took the 2-year-old nephew to Disneyland day before yesterday. It was so packed. And Disneyland now, you have to buy in advance, right? You can't just go to the gate and buy it.
Because it's sold out.
I mean, I think that's just the way they work it now. They use
Crazy.
COVID to, you pre-book. You don't, so they know what they're doing. I suppose if there's tickets available for the day that you want to go, you can probably rock up and still buy them from the gate. But I think that is rare, especially probably during holiday times. My goodness, I thought the pre-booking thing was going to be somewhat crowd controlling.
Yeah.
Nope. They sell to max capacity.
Wow.
And it was even hard to walk around.
So what's the point of even going? I mean, if you can't ride rides and you're just, I would actually be okay with not riding rides if you could at least appreciate the Christmasness of it.
Sure.
But if you can't even walk around.
If you're packed. Yeah, no, I mean, it seemed like they had done it to maximum one more person.
Yeah.
And I would have never gone to Disneyland again.
What about the ordering food in advance thing?
Yeah. Thankfully, weirdly at Disneyland, I don't know how this happened. It was just a Christmas miracle, I suppose. Ran out to the downtown Disney, which is outside the gate there, and somehow got seated for a party of 9 like that.
What?
At 6 p.m.
Crazy.
Weirdo.
Very weird.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I have no interest in ever going to Disneyland again.
See, they had the one person too many that one time you were there.
Exactly.
That one person, I'll still go back to Disneyland. No time soon. But yeah, it was a giant fest. But yeah, it's so weird to think back to 2020 wasn't long ago. It's fresh in our memory of not being allowed to be around people. And now the more the merrier.
I think I didn't quite appreciate it for what it was in 2020.
Yeah.
I just took the negative of like, oh, this is different than always. We're being, prohibited from doing things we want to do. So I was anti, but with a little bit of hindsight, I recognized I should have been grateful. I should have appreciated it at the time.
You can move to China and practice
they're still suffering.
Their zero COVID policy where you can be locked in and all that.
Yep. Okay. Well, that's a possibility.
Yep.
Do these remote.
Yep.
Henceforth. I have a Christmas conundrum for you also that took place on my drive up.
Tell me.
I am responsible for Christmas dinner because I offered to cook beef Wellington.
Beef Wellington.
Yes.
Delicious.
Fantastic, right?
Underappreciated.
And it's not as hard as you would think.
Really? It seems like it's hard.
It's not that hard.
The crust and whatnot?
Yeah. Well, the other great thing about it is you could do most of it in advance.
Okay.
Like make the mushroom mixture, sear off the meat, wrap it even in everything, including the pastry, then wrap that in cellophane, throw it in the fridge a day in advance.
And you're done.
So then the day of, you just pull that out, throw it in the oven.
No problem.
Makes it easy, right? So anyways, beef Wellington, spent, lots of time acquiring all the ingredients, mapping out the timeline, making my lists.
Mm-hmm. Smart.
Yeah. Puff pastry turns out hard to get during the holidays.
Oh, yeah.
So
supply chain.
Yeah. So I went through 3 different stores in the last 3 days. Couldn't find it. Finally found it yesterday. All good. I'm fully ready to go. Now, you can make, I think in maybe restaurants, you see individual Wellingtons, but the way that you traditionally do it is you get a full tenderloin.
Yeah.
Right? So you're making a giant log of meat.
Yep.
That's what I'm doing. Got a text this morning. Hey, can you do one without mushroom?
Oh, nope. You cannot.
How do you handle this?
You cannot. You just say, no, I cannot.
Okay.
That person eats something else. Like, is it an allergy or is it a preference?
Great question. Don't know.
Don't care. At this point,
I almost don't care either.
No, of course. If you cannot eat what is being prepared at somebody's house, then you eat something else.
I do not think it's an allergy.
I've never heard a mushroom allergy.
Yeah. So
if somebody's being a wiener and I don't like mushrooms.
They're being a child.
Yes. Is this an adult? It doesn't matter anyway.
This is an adult. Yes. Now, my blood is boiling just discussing.
Yes, me too. You made mine boil too.
Well, I just gave you the setup of multiple days of prep, multiple days of everything, and in my mind, automatically, I want to accommodate. I'm a nice person.
No.
So my thought was, you know what? I've got the full tenderloin, but I'll just go out and grab a fillet.
No.
And we'll do a one-off fillet. I have all the ingredients. I have enough puff pastry, everything. So, and then I was like, so I didn't reply to the text yet because I was.
You haven't yet. Good.
I haven't replied yet. Because I have a couple of thoughts. I'm like, okay, I could either just say yes, do the fillet without
you can't
even complaining.
Nope.
Or then I was like, another option is, and the other option is yours. Don't do it. My third option is yes, but let them know how much of an effort I'm going to go through to accommodate them. Like, hey, text them back. Yeah, I guess I'll go out to the store and grab an extra fillet. Even though I'm done shopping for the year, I have to now make another stop in the day, go get the extra fillet. And you know what? Actually, the mushrooms do serve a purpose. They absorb the moisture so that the pastry doesn't get soggy. So let me think about this. How about we pan fry some potatoes for you? And we'll throw that in there instead. Sure, let me go grab a potato too and do an extra step just for you.
I'm going to tell you what, this person feels no shame already in asking this.
And they need to.
And they need to feel shame, but don't shame them by doing work yourself, because then they'd be like, oh man, it's a lot of trouble. Thanks. Right. Then you're stuck actually doing this. They didn't really feel shame. They just, they got you. They got you on the hook to just say straight up no, and you're a baby.
Yeah.
Say, are you an adult person?
Yeah.
Mushroom is entirely inoffensive. Like, I can see how you don't have to like mushrooms. You don't have to love mushrooms. Any adult person should be able to eat a mushroom.
I would go a step further and say it's one of the greatest vegetables.
I agree.
That we have.
I agree.
Or,
I mean,
is it a vegetable? It's a vegetable.
It's a fungus.
Yeah, fungus.
No, fungus.
Right.
It's a sophisticated taste.
But I think that when you're young, and especially us growing up where we grew up and the time we grew up, there weren't sophisticated mushrooms. There was just like the button mushrooms at the store or canned mushrooms probably, or they'd end up on a pizza where it had like a earthy flavor. And so when you're a kid, you don't like it, right?
Sure.
However, I'm not serving you a kid's meal. Mushroom serves, in a Wellington, certainly it serves a purpose. And so you have not been exposed. You've only been exposed to the crappy version of something, and you think that now it's just a crappy thing.
Yep.
No. As you grow up, you're going to be exposed to sophisticated versions properly used, and you'll realize the value. Like, how do you shut your mind off because you had a bad experience when you were a little kid and now you're never going to experience anything else in the future? No. Sit back. Here's a phenomenal meal. Enjoy it, and it'll open your eyes to something new.
That's
instead
where
of mandating your childhood preferences.
That's where you shame this person. Just say no, and you're going to like it. If you don't, then
we'll bring chicken tenders.
You would have tried. Yeah, I mean that's what you should say.
Literally.
Yeah, you can go get chicken tendies.
Yeah.
Just tell them you'll throw tendies in the. I mean that's exactly what you should say. You should say if you don't like it, I'll make sure we have dino tenders.
Right.
Yeah.
Tyson's frozen dino tendies for you.
Yeah.
They'll go in the oven at the same time as the Wellington, come out at the same time. But even having this conversation makes me feel like such a pretentious dick. You know what I mean?
No, people like,
how dare you sit back and enjoy my Wellington?
No, you go to somebody's house, people have forgotten their dang manners. You go to somebody's house, you eat what's prepared. You don't ask for preference, right? I mean, I get
it's out of line for sure.
It's way out of line. If you have if you're celiac or something like that, right?
Fair enough.
Totally fair enough. And you can also then bring it up while also saying, it's totally cool. I'm sure there's a bunch I can eat I'll fend for myself.
There's no person on the planet that I love more than that person.
Yeah.
Who may be vegan, maybe gluten-free, whatever, and they never make a request.
No.
They show up, they survey the scene, and they go, you know what? I'll eat some almonds, or I'll eat whatever it is that's available.
The thought that somebody, this is not a boat trip where you're out to sea for 7 days too.
Right.
If worst case scenario, you have to snack for a meal or ostensibly miss a meal, guess who's not going to die?
Exactly.
You.
Exactly.
You can grab something on the way home. Yeah. You can go home and eat something. I mean, I could see if you're out at sea and you're vegan and the only thing on the boat is beef, then you'd be, this is going to be a 7-day fast, right?
Yeah.
I could see prepping in advance for something like that.
We're the opposite of that.
One meal? You kidding?
One meal, which by the way, 90% of the Wellington is meat that is uncontaminated by the mushrooms.
Yeah.
So there's also the scenario where this lands on your plate,
you scrape
you shave off the mushrooms.
It's embarrassing.
And you eat a fatty,
Oh my
cow.
goodness. Well, man, I'm looking forward to the response here.
I don't know if I can make it through the day anymore. I'm really upset.
Yeah, I would be too.
It's enraged.
How close is this person to you? Is this a person that already is causing problems?
No, we're tied together.
A loved one.
They are a loved one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, still make them feel the shame.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yep.
Well, in surf news. Oh, by the way, album Surfboards. That's where we're at right now.
So beautiful. Surrounded by this beauty ahead of the holidays. I mean, my goodness gracious.
Well, and I don't know if you'd notice, but artists go through phases, right?
Yes.
Look at the phase that Matt's in right now. This is different, right? There's times where we come in and it's acid splash thing. This is an abstraction, maybe a cubist almost element to it. I think it's a collaboration with the artist that they're displaying in the shop right now, Patrick Lum, because I've seen his work and it looks like that. So I think that's what that is. But still, it's like every year or two, Matt kind of shifts in aesthetic and it's always equally beautiful. It is. And also his appreciation of, I've always considered, I think we all do, right? Any surfer worth his or her salt considers the surfboard art in and of itself. Surfboards are not just tools. It's not a golf club. It's not a baseball bat. It is not something you use to play a game, right? There is, even going into a surf shop and stroking the rails of a surfboard, right? There's some, I don't know. It's a sculpture.
Yeah, they are sculptures, and we appreciate the person who has sculpted them. Matt's taken that to the new level, I feel, of actually making them art. Agreed. Now, that's not just art, because we feel it's art. It is proper honest to goodness art.
Could be wall hanging art.
It is.
Yeah. Matt Parker, album surfboards, albumsurf.com, I think is all their official information. So, yep, big fan. So in surf news, we now know the reason why John Florence was not competing in the Pipe Masters.
Makes all the sense in the world, man.
It really does.
Married.
Except
for also, that didn't have to, like, he could have still competed in the Pipe Masters and gotten married. I mean, they don't,
well,
you don't
no.
you don't surf the Pipe Masters at night, for example, and you get married at night. Like, you
want to focus all your attention.
I don't know. You've been married. I've been married twice. There's 4 weddings between us, right? How much of the day leading up to the wedding? I mean, unless you got married in the day. John, it appears, got married at night from all the pictures I saw.
Yeah, but
might have been the evening.
But the point is, you got to put the wedding on the calendar way in advance. And the Pipe Masters window was probably in that same window.
As the groom,
and you don't know when they're going to run the event. And it's going to be a 3-day event.
I'm going to say, as the groom, you need 0% of that day. Like, the bride is getting taken care of and pampered and dressed and blah. You, at the groom, are twiddling your thumbs like an asshole. Might as well surf the Pipe Masters and then go get married.
and win it.
Yeah, and win it and then go straight into your wedding.
I think John is a little bit more enlightened.
I'm telling him.
I think he's going, I could win that and I can win over here with my wife, but I've won that in the past. I'll win it again in the future. I'll only do this once. This deserves my full attention.
I get it. It's a beautiful sentiment, except for, and now he knows, right? I wish them nothing but the best and happiness forever. But if John happens to get married again, he'll know, should have surfed the Pipe Masters, man. That day is a boring day. Well, that day, I'm killing every bit of that time until I walk down the aisle.
Good news is the Pipe Masters, the waves were not great.
They were
so
crap.
I don't think that he will really be regretting his decision.
He won't this time, but in the future, he should think, and to those out there listening, to those men who are about to get married, feel free to schedule something on your wedding day. It's okay. It's even all you're going to do. If you don't have anything to do on your wedding day, what you will end up doing is making small talk with your future in-laws. You will end up running pointless errands that other people would be happy to run for you, but since you've got nothing to do, you're killing time anyway. You will end up in all kinds of vaguely uncomfortable / boring situations. Schedule something. Your wife or future wife, she's got it all scheduled for her, right? Her women, what are they called again? Bridesmaids. Her bridesmaids.
They made a movie about it.
Yeah. Her bridesmaids they have her schedule packed, right? They're getting mani-pedis. They're getting hair did. They're getting blah-de-blah, facials, whatever women do before they get married.
They need your energy, though.
They
need to know that you're sitting by yourself, focusing on them.
You don't tell them that you have scheduled something.
You don't tell them you're in the Pipe Masters?
No.
Now, how do you feel about the following day then? Because ostensibly that would be part of John's rationale was, what if they run the event day 1, the day of the wedding? Well, then I got to wrap the wedding at night and be prepared for day 2.
No, you just don't surf day 2. I mean,
you just blow that off.
Yeah, you blow it off.
Okay.
Like if he would have surfed the Pipe Masters.
You don't have to be present the day of, but you have to be present the day after.
Definitely. Like you're going on a honeymoon, all that kind of stuff. Now you're married. Now it's official and legitimate. You be official and legitimate. Blow off the Pipe Masters, but don't blow it off for the wedding day itself.
Got it.
Yeah.
I like how you, as a qualifier for giving this advice, is we have 4 weddings between the 2 of us.
I mean, I feel we're experts in the matter, right? I feel we know.
You know what? Let's do another round.
Yeah.
Let's do 2 more. 2 more, and then we'll be PhD level.
Exactly. I feel we know, though, like having been, because you make mistakes in your first wedding that you rectify in your second wedding.
Correct.
I think. Not just marriage.
Forget about the marriage, the wedding itself.
Wedding,
yeah.
the day itself. I feel like learned a lot of lessons about what I didn't like in a wedding event, time 1.
The greatest lesson I learned is don't spend so much money.
Yeah.
That was wedding 1 is pomp and circumstance. It's invite 200 people. It's blah, blah, blah. And it's 6 hours, right? Wedding 2 We did a destination wedding. We spent less in 2 weeks at a destination, having parties, hosting dinners, all of that, than we spent on wedding one for 1 day.
Yeah.
If you can believe that.
I really think there's 2 ways to do it. You either if you're going to do, I love that we're giving wedding advice now. If the perfect wedding,
It's surf related.
wedding is either destination or throw a great party, right? Like the wedding, like the ceremony itself with a crappy sit down dinner or lunch or whatever afterwards, like where you're eating food you don't want to eat, sitting somewhere that is not great, probably, all of that kind of stuff. Who wants to do that? Yeah. Either go somewhere or throw a rager.
Yep. Well, we threw a week-long roving party.
Yeah.
So it was, even better.
Great.
Because you're spreading it around.
John's on should have surfed Pipe Masters, but photos I saw looked like his wedding was a lot of fun. So I'll give him that. It looked like he did throw the rager.
I agree. It looked like a lot of fun. Jealous I wasn't there.
Yeah.
It's also always funny seeing pro surfers try to wear suits.
Oh man. So it's been funny for years.
They're so uncomfortable.
You would think by now that they would have figured it out. Like, okay, we got to look good in the suit.
Yeah. They're fit. They should be able to wear the suit well, but they're just, it's a confidence. It's a lack of confidence.
Every surfer who wears a suit is so aware. You can see it in his eyes, his awareness of wearing a suit, the way he's standing, every bit of it,
Except John. John's looked great.
But John has, I think, been, for all of his kind of North Shore laid backness, he's been photographed by famous fashion photographers and all that his whole life. Like, I think John has a sneaky comfortability in finery.
Kalohe Andino does not.
No, Kalohe
he looked
boxy,
uncomfortable.
Yeah, boxy.
So speaking of Pipe Masters,
watched some of it.
Did you? Ballroom Stack won the event on the men's side. Molly Picklum won on the women's side.
I'm going to go ahead at the start here and say it was a failure of concept.
Yes, totally agree.
I mean, it failed.
Which part of the concept? The format or the air portion or what?
The air portion, building that up at all, looked like a mockery, which they should have known better, right? It's not like non-surfers. This was like Eric Logan had an idea that he wanted to see executed and doesn't know surfing. Like Stab magazine calling Pipe one of the best airwaves in the world was a foolish thing to put out. And the fact that not one air was landed or scored, definitely not the last day.
Yago Dora did one. That's all I can remember.
I mean,
but it was like it was an air that I would have seen at Huntington on any day of the week, and it did not warrant a big score. It didn't get a big score.
I mean, so that was a failure right there to even make that a conversation. Like I could see how if Vans was going to say, hey, we're reimagining the Pipe Master to score more of the wave or something, right? But to make it real specific, for Stab to put out, this is the best airwave in the world, all the hype leading into it was dumb. I didn't like the format. I liked that format for the shootout, but it seemed like the Pipe Masters is the Pipe Masters. Like the reason that these iconic events are iconic is because you can follow them year to year in the same way, right? And so each Pipe Master, theoretically, is weighted equally. Sure, there's some days where there's better surf or years where there's better surf than others, but they are Pipe Masters. This Balaram does not feel like a Pipe Master to me, and not because he doesn't deserve to be. Like Balaram, his, of course he's from New York and all that, but is a charger, spends a ton of time in Hawaii, surfs pipe very well, surfs pipe a lot. So I feel bad that feels like he has an asterisk a bit because of the dumb format.
He absolutely does.
Yeah.
And there's not to take anything away from him at all.
No, he would have been a Pipe Master, could have been a Pipe Master.
He earned it in this event on these rules, in this format. Great for him. He deserves it. But yes, in the pantheon of Pipe Masters, this one ranks lower than, this ranks above Bede Durbage's win, but below almost all the others.
Everything else.
As an event.
Yeah.
And he just happened to win that event, but
it's not
the event itself. Yeah.
To me, it feels like a real self-inflicted wound to both the Pipe Master brand and Vans for keeping it away from the WSL, because what it does, I think, is now elevate the Pipeline Pro.
was an unforeseen consequence.
Like the Pipeline Pro is the thing I'm looking forward to now. And the Pipe Masters, if they do this crap again, will be like, it'll be like worse than Haleiwa. Like I won't even be aware that it's running.
I guess I think that the main problem and issue with this event was just that the waves weren't great. Because if it was this same format with these same competitors and the waves were pumping, I think it would have been we would have been way more excited, and we would have seen incredible surfing.
I mean, pumping waves, true. They like paper over like vast amounts of problems. But if the waves were pumping, you wouldn't have needed this format, right? Like the format was changed to make it more exciting with the airs and the, you know, turns and whatnot in case it wasn't on fire.
It was such a stupid thing because there's no point in even stating any of it anyways, because in every Pipe Master in the past, if somebody would have got a crazy barrel and did a huge air, they would have been rewarded for it.
Yeah.
There was never a time where we were like, no, we're not going to reward the air as a punctuation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's no point in even stating. And what it seemed like Vans and Stab was stating was, we're going to rank the air as high as the barrel. That's what they seem to be stating.
I mean, I think that was directly stated.
But then once the event was running and all the commentators were backing out of that,
yeah,
they're like, no, that's not what they meant. I know everybody made a big hoopla online, but no, the barrel still reigns supreme at Pipe. So it's almost like they were just using the air conversation as marketing fodder leading up to the event.
I mean, it really did seem misguided and I don't know how, again, if this would have come from the WSL, if the WSL would have held this event, I would have said, because they don't know surfing, deeply, right? And there's people in the room who don't know surfing. Between Vans and Stab, there is no excuse for the product that was delivered.
Agreed.
Like, it's weird. It was like a full miss. It was like...
Yeah. Well, the other huge miss for me, and even if the waves were pumping, this would still be a miss, is that the world's greatest surfers were not in the event.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that Ballroom wouldn't have won. I'm saying I would love to see Ballroom
go against John or against Gabe or against
Correct.
Kelly
because there's still a question mark in my mind of great, but how does he stack up against the world's best?
I mean, I wonder what's going to happen to the Pipe Masters. That window is not a great window, right? Which was proven again this year, where that window can be great.
It was great the last couple of days.
Yeah, but
maybe even today.
Yeah, but is not like it's more hit or miss then than it is in January.
Yeah.
So, but what is, with the degrading of the Pipe Masters name, I mean, I think they properly degraded the entire concept of it, right? Where does it move from here?
Yeah, because they can redeem it real quickly and real easily. My other thought is, do we really care about the name that much?
I mean, well, the whole thing is, and that's what I feel they should have leaned hard on, where there's only one Pipe Masters, right? They could have said, you can win other events at Pipe, but there is one Pipe Masters, and this is the history, right? Yeah. It's Jerry Lopez. It's, Derek Ho. It is on and on and on and on. It is, Jamie O'Brien's epic win as a kid. It's all of it's the history of the Pipe Masters. It's like the Masters in surf or in golf, right? Like, yeah. I don't follow golf, but every year when the Masters comes around, I don't watch it, but I'm aware of it because of its history.
Right.
Where this, instead of leaning into the history, I felt they leaned into, we're
innovation.
Reimagining, we're making it Prague. And so they lost on both ends.
Yeah. Among the highlights, though, were the commentary, I felt. Mahina
was awesome.
Mahina, I thought, was the freshest breath of air. Like, astute, sharp, obviously smart, and then of course is embedded in surf's DNA.
Yep.
So just fully understands and is comfortable in the space. I thought she was phenomenal.
I wonder if the WSL will proffer contract.
Yeah, they absolutely should. I mean,
she
honestly,
should be in the booth.
Well, okay, and I'm not saying this to shade any of the actual commentators on the WSL, but might be overqualified for the WSL. You know what I mean? Like, there are professional commentators who understand surf who just opt out of working for the WSL and I've had these conversations with these people, because the WSL doesn't provide the level of professionalism and long-term planning of your schedule and all that sort of stuff. Even the people who are on currently commentating, they don't know which events they're going to be at this year yet.
It's wild to me that that's not even for their own sake. I mean, it's not like it's a surprise that, oh, we're going to mix it up. You know, the ratings were down. We're going to try out some combos. The WSL knows exactly what it has. They could give 2 years in advance and say, hey, you're calling this if you want, or if you can.
The word is that they're the people who are responsible for making those decisions and organizing that are incompetent.
Yes.
And disorganized. So
Misorganized
that's
too.
That's the issue. Jamie O'Brien on a soft top. Did you watch that heat, or did you see that?
I saw. I didn't watch the heat. How did he surf it?
Incredibly.
Yeah. Did he get scored?
Yeah.
Did he win his heat?
No. And that's the other thing is he did it in his second heat.
Yeah.
So
it was a no-lose heat, right?
It was all no elimination. Everybody was supposed to surf 3 heats, but because the forecast was so bad and it got compressed down to the end of the window, it ended up being everybody only gets 2 heats. But in his first heat, he did not garner enough points to where even if he got 2 perfect scores in his second heat,
he wouldn't have made it through.
I think that's how that worked.
That sounds weird, though.
Yeah, that does sound weird, right?
I mean,
because you would only need.
Yeah.
Well,
he couldn't advance.
Whatever the case was, he wasn't going to advance on his second heat, and the waves were wonky and weird. So he paddled out on a soft top. I think he prioritized his vlog over the event at that point. It's like, I'm just going to go put a camera on, document this, and make something. But what was interesting about it was how much value that board had out there.
Yeah.
Where everybody else riding, pointy thrusters essentially, or knifey type boards, they're sitting on a certain part looking for a certain wave. Jamie sitting 20 yards beyond them, hoping that one of those waves would come in. And if that did happen, then he could get that 10-point or 30-point.
Because there's no priority, right?
Right.
But there was still...
But he was out deeper and further out than anybody else. So he would have priority on that wave anyways. He'd be the first to get it.
I wonder I've wondered this for years and years about WSL. Like I'm no professional surfer, but you would think that there would be value to not necessarily a soft top, but to a lot different style of boards at especially places where you're just going to get barreled.
Yeah.
Like I guess Mason Ho does it when he's out there, right? He rides like a
7.2 or something.
Yeah, basically a mid-length out there. I mean, a longboard for him.
Totally.
But it's just like, it's funny that it's so rare to see that. Like you'd think that somebody in even a WSL heat might think, hey, if, I'm going to paddle a soft top out to pipe, get it way out the back, and what?
We've seen what he can do on it.
Yeah.
Like he can get a 10-point barrel on a soft top. We've seen him in the vlogs. And it was just a matter of, will that wave come in this heat or not? And it didn't. But he did get 1 or 2 rides on it where he surfed it phenomenally, like as good of a barrel as anybody else got in that heat.
This is the stinking problem, again, with the Pipe Masters. What they should have done, they should have really picked the best pipe riders, because they didn't, right? Like it wasn't just about that. And how fun would it have been to see have stinking, whoever out there, right? I don't know. They should have had all the kind of pipe masters who are still alive of the past, plus the best pipe surfers.
Talking about the failures of the format, part of that was having all these blow-ins.
Yeah.
Like Harry Bryant and Craig Anderson.
It was all stab.
Rasta Rob.
All stab favorites.
Right.
Which was, you don't need to see half those guys at pipe.
Well, it didn't pan out. Just like Ayers didn't pan out, that also didn't pan out. Aton Osborne got an insane backdoor wave. Harry Bryant got one really good backdoor wave as well. But those were basically it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you would have packed the event with not only pipe specialists, but throw Michael Ho in there.
That's what I'm saying.
Throw Johnny Boy in there.
Yeah. Well, don't just have it be young. Have it be because you don't need to be. Yeah. You don't need to be young to ride that wave.
Right. If they included those, there would have been absolutely as many highlights as the ones I just named, and very likely more than that.
Yep.
So I'm not taking away those highlights because those waves were cool, but there would have been a greater number of them if you would have done the event with the logical picks, not try to rethink the wheel. Speechgrit.com wrote an article about a couple of blood feuds that took place throughout the event. One being between Griffin Colapinto and Joao Chianca. Joao in the final was just being hyper aggressive, Gabriel-esque aggression, literally paddling into, making contact with Griffin and other surfers. So the article, I don't know, doesn't really imply or doesn't really unearth whether there is an actual conflict between the two or if it's just Joao being super aggressive. But what was interesting to me about that is I'm watching it going, the kid wants it. Like, I've learned from Gabriel and Zeke and a couple of other people, like, shoot, that has merit.
Sure.
Because you take down world champs by doing it. The problem is when Joao ends up in fourth.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, now you just look like a dick.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that's the problem. If you're gonna play hyper like alpha in the lineup, like the alpha who's out there in nature, even like if there's some, I don't know, who preen lions or whatever out there, big gorilla making a big show and then getting his ass kicked.
Yeah.
That's super embarrassing. It's embarrassing in nature. It's embarrassing in life. So if you're going to go do that, you better be confident enough that either your opponent is so weak that it's going to work or that you are so good or that you've got it, that's going to add, that's going to be value add. Yeah, it's exactly right. Very embarrassing to go chest pound and lose.
I liked Joao prior to this event and I still like him. This isn't like I'm going to remember this moment and judge him moving forward, but he's on watch.
Do you think that Joao is going to take this same sort of tactic into the WSL, into his maiden campaign?
I do. I think it might have more relevance in that platform than it does here. And honestly, I think that him employing that was probably also a result of the waves. Like if the waves were pumping, he probably would have just been searching for the best wave.
Yeah, you don't need that.
Knowing that the best wave wasn't coming, he was going to.
Do you think that the no priority rule made him like, is that why he was doing it too?
Maybe.
I mean, because you could actually, it was weird to me that there was no priority, but also because there was paddle interference, right?
Yes.
Like I can
not paddle interference, but there was interference.
Yeah, which I mean I could see how just dropping in on someone.
So the question with that was Pua de Soto took off on a backdoor wave that she arguably almost anybody would agree was not going to make. She was way too deep, but she took off on the wave. And I think it was Carissa Moore.
Yeah, and Carissa got the interference, right?
Yeah, Carissa got the interference. So if no, I think it was Sierra Kerr's wave. It was actually Sierra Kerr's wave because Carissa did get an interference also, I think from Betty Lou Sakura in the final, but it was previous to the final. Pua took off on the wave. Sierra burned her and got an insane barrel. And she would have won, except it was deemed an interference.
See,
but it's like in real life,
if you're not going to make the wave, that's not.
Sierra's got full right to go.
I mean, that's why there was no, to me, reinventing the wheel again. There's no real point in taking priority away. Like priority is not the problem for professional surfing, right? Like I could totally see how priority rules could be altered and bettered.
Yeah.
But to take them away and then to have sort of an subjective call on if someone was going to make the wave or not, like, I mean, at that point to me, you should go Elon Musk Twitter poll style, right? And just say, would she have made it? And then we will abide by the...
Well, they didn't even employ a subjective call.
Yeah.
It was just the fact that Sierra went means it was interference. Because if there was a subjective call, they probably wouldn't have deemed it interference.
So exactly. But then
they made it an objective call, which doesn't make sense because we needed subjectivity right there.
I mean, exactly. Like and if you're going to take away priority, then it becomes subjective. And that's something that you could debate. But which I get that. Like if the WSL took away priority as a rule, right? And then made it a subjective call if somebody got burned or not, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Like it's probably be more exciting in some way. But to have no priority and then interference seemed dumb.
Well, that article went on to talk about the Betty Lou Sakura Johnson and Carissa Moore situation. The writer, remind me, do you remember who the writer's name is?
It was a writer formerly known as Jack Mehoff.
Jack Mehoff, that's what it was. Said, quote, whether Betty Lou shadowed Carissa and dropped in behind her to deny glory to Carissa or just dropped in ruthlessly, or if Carissa dropped in ruthlessly to deny Betty Lou her first chance at such glory is an open question. But the tension was obvious, as not only did Carissa drop in, but was also noticeably absent after the three other contenders gathered round for an interview with Mahina Florence. Watching the girls go at it is not only what we as fans want to see, but outright demand as a condition for equal pay. That and some serious ball-clenching charging in conditions of consequence. Betty Lou is on the map, making statements, and Carissa's misfortunes are sure to translate into ruthless squashing of competitors' dreams. My thought on this is we've got this new crop of young girls coming up that we all agree are like
more exciting
and more well-rounded. They're doing airs and all this kind of stuff. They're also more ruthless. And Carissa and Stephanie as well, their brand is aloof positivity. You know, they're just like congratulating the other person. Even if somebody beats them, they're congratulating them. If they're congratulating them no matter what, because they're that talented to where they've been able to just kind of win without any cutthroatness. And their competition was a far second and third to those two, essentially. I don't know if that can exist in this new world order.
Well,
you have to be cutthroat with these young girls.
Add on to this. So I touched on this yesterday. New York Times did a story about the women surfing pipe, but I didn't go as deep probably as I should have I guess I might have said it directly in there, but I think heading into this 2023 World or Championship Tour season, the women's side is more exciting than the men's side in terms of better talent, more interesting talent coming in. And then with this mid-year cut, only 10 get through, right? And so you have a bunch more talent, a bunch fewer spots. On the men's side, again, it's great for Ramsey, Buchaim and this kind of stuff. Like, those are fine stories. None of those guys are making it through the cut, right? Not one of them. Frankly, there's way too many guys who are going to make it through the cut on the men's side. The women's side, there's going to be, again, few spots, better surfers. There's going to be proper surfers left out. Yeah. Right? I mean... Which is exciting. Yeah, exactly. That actually is a great design. Exactly. Yeah. Like, if you're going to have the cut, you don't want to have 4 more people than you care to see make it over the line, right? Or in the guys' side, like 8 more people than you care to see. Well... The challenge, I think, for the young girls is the way that the schedule is laid out. So the first events are Pipe, Sunset, Bells, Margaret. It's like those are venues and waves that Courtney Conlog is going to do well in. Yeah. And certainly Carissa Moore and certainly Stephanie Gilmore. Caitlin Simmers, as tenacious and talented as she is, probably doesn't have a ton of experience at Sunset. And also she's a little thing, right? I mean, it feels like those Sunset Bellsy waves are waves that you need to have like adult density in order to sort of, really shine on. It seems like it would be hard as how old is Caitlin Simmers? 16, maybe 17. Exactly. As a, young teenage girl, like to do the kinds of turns and whatnots on those waves that get the scores. Yeah. And it's exactly what we want, but it's also kind of a shame because I feel like those girls do have the chops to be there with the standard. For sure. I mean, and then it's going to end up the second half of the season where we're in wave pools in Brazil. That you want to see those girls. Watching Courtney Conlog. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that is the problem where I don't know how you fix that if you're the league, but because whatever, but they should have, if they could mix up wave types ahead of the cut, like where you got Pipeline Barrel, Meaty Sunset, Meaty Bells, Meaty Western Australia, and then it's done, right? Yeah. That's what it is? Yeah, I think so. Which is all, they're all meaty waves. It's fine, but it's one type of wave. Yeah, I would argue those are the only waves. Let's have more of those on the back half as well. And then the amateurs coming up through the ranks will train in that type of surf for this type of tour. Yep. You know what I mean? I think that would be ideal. But in all things equal, though, women's draw this year more exciting than men's. Totally. I
there was an incident at Stab High. Sierra Kerr and Caitlin Simmers were really the top two. And Sierra stomped a crazy, winning air wave in the final. And you could see Caitlin seething.
Great.
And I was like, I mean, she was just standing there like with a puss on her face. You know, it was like Andy Irons and Kelly type of rivalry that you could see starting. And I was like, man, I'm looking forward to the next 10 years to see, hopefully Sierra goes and tries to make the tour so that we can see these two kind of battle this out. But then the Betty Lou and Carissa thing reminded me like, oh yeah, there's others who feel that way as well. It's exciting.
I would love for them to lean into it and not in the fake like MMA kind of way, like, or WWE kind of way, but really honestly,
agreed.
Just say, no, I don't like her.
Yeah.
Like maybe someday I will, but right now I don't. She's in my way.
To Caitlin's credit, as soon as the champagne popped, she smiled, she kind of rested her shoulders and she congratulated Sierra. So, but she couldn't contain her seething up until that moment. You know, like great. She wanted to be there. Yeah. It wasn't so much like I hate that person. It was just, I want to be there more. I want that.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's what makes great rivalry. I think more than personal beef between people, that's always a great addition.
That comes later. I
think. But it's like, what in F1, it is, who are the two guys?
I only got through the first season of that show.
Not Drive to Survive, the movie about, it's like the classic rivalry in F1 racing. I'll think of the names later. But it's those great moments are a lot less about personal beef and a lot more about actually who is the best and both wanting to be the best.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I think moving on maybe from the Pipe Masters, unless you have anything else to say about that.
Nope. Shame, Vans and Stab. Boo.
In terribly smart business ideas, a couple of things this week. Dane Reynolds opens a retail store and Ross Levinson, chairman and CEO of the Arena Group, buys Surfer magazine.
$25 million. Dude,
terribly smart business ideas.
Dane's is, I will say. Dane's opening that is exactly on brand for Dane Reynolds and the people of Ventura who will come to his shop, right? Like if I was anywhere near, I would go in and pick up my missing Christmas gifts right now. Like it's a place for, I feel, Dane's a homebody, right? Loves Ventura. It's a place for him to be home, go to the office, might as well go to a surf shop, right? Have people come in, say hi, step in the back room and do your work if you don't want to be social. But it feels not only on brand for Dane, it feels like it will be a success, not at a multi-million-dollar level, but it'll be exactly the kind of success that I feel Dane aims for now, right? He's not shooting for the stars of getting his, billions of dollars. Seems like Dane wants to make products and movies and whatnot and earn a living, but doesn't feel like Dane wants to sell Former for $25 million.
Spot on. I'll go further with the same thought. Dane, it seems like all that they do is bespoke.
Yeah.
They're not mass manufacturing anything. Yeah. They're probably hand screening those shirts, but certainly the stuff that his wife is doing is little bespoke, handmade, random knickknacks and trinkets. Right. And so, you need somewhere to display. They're not going to open an Etsy store.
No.
And they're also, in kind of relation to what you're saying, the design isn't, let's start with this shop as a portal to everything else. And we're going to employ Shopify. We're going to set up third-party fulfillment. You know what? And this will just be our display of this massive.
That's where they sell their things.
They're literally, like you said, homebodies who are just making things. And they're like, well, I guess we need a storefront to do it. And the only way this can fail is through mismanagement of the actual administration of the business, because there's so much demand for what Dane is doing, and especially, by the way, for what his wife is doing.
Yep.
That it's like the rent there in Ventura has got to be, let's say, $3,000 a month. So for what he and his wife are doing, they can cover that rent.
Yep.
And I mean, Dane doesn't even need to be there, to be honest. I mean, it's a bigger draw if Dane is there.
Sure.
But if he just hired local kids to work the shop for minimum wage,
Totally.
and they just bring in once a week the knick-knack handmade things that they made, plus the Buell wetsuits, plus CI surfboards, plus former gear.
I mean, it seems
How can you fail?
It seems like an absolute win.
People will be driving in.
Sure.
Surfers from Japan who land in LA and surf Malibu will do a 2-hour or however long the drive
to go
is,
to Dane, to go
up
to Former.
Ventura to grab some gear at Former.
100%. And again, like I think the only way it would fail, which Dane, this doesn't seem like his mindset, is if somebody's like, we got to scale this, right? Like, this is great. We're going to stick a Former, surf shop and we're going to start one in San Clemente tomorrow. And then we're going to do like
Right.
It works in Ventura, right? It works
with Dane.
Yeah. With
Dane dropping off handwritten doodles every Monday.
Exactly.
And the kids' pictures up on the refrigerator.
And you're going to employ a couple people. You're going to make a little bit of money. It's all perfect.
Very little.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Doesn't matter. If you're like employing people and
exactly,
like if it's a benefit to the community, a community that you already love, great.
It's smart for CI too. Like
sure.
In Jen C's article that she wrote on beachgrit.com, she mentioned that there was like custom order forms from CI that are there so you could fill out and order a new surfboard. It's like, that takes a little bit of a burden off CI. Too.
Sure.
Like you can buy the boards on the rack at a bunch of other shops in the area, or you want to get a custom, let Dane fulfill it for you.
I forgot that that CI basically sold back to the employees.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I forgot that because it's one of the best stories around. But the fact, I mean, it's just win-wins everywhere. Like
really
it's
is.
a win for CI, which is a win for Dane, which is a win for CI. It's great.
Never would have thunk that retail in 2022, brick and mortar retail, there was a time where I thought,
it's all going away.
Well, not only literally there's going to be one type of store that is brick and mortar and they sell bricks and mortar.
Yeah.
That's it, because you can't ship bricks and mortar around.
Yeah.
It's too expensive to ship.
Yeah.
So there will be the only brick and mortar stores sell brick and mortar.
But you realize you want to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, even though you complain,
experience, you want experience.
I want to go into Dane's shop and buy a Former t-shirt. I have no interest, to be honest, in ordering a Former t-shirt online. If I was in Ventura and next time I am in Ventura, I will certainly stop by and buy something.
Yep. Yeah. Terribly smart.
Yep. Good job, Dane. Just like Surfer Magazine.
Surfer Magazine sells. This is, by the way, validating my idea last week when we spoke about you and I getting rich off of our own individual, respective entities.
Yes.
This is an harbinger of us earning $5 million in 3 years from now.
Very excited for that.
I know. Me too.
Yep. Thrilled.
So, quote, tech-powered media company with alleged naughty CEO loses ever-loving mind. Purchases defunct Surfer Magazine, Men's Journal for $25 million US.
Yikes.
How could somebody possibly justify spending $25 million on something that does not make any money?
I learned from the comments that tax write-offs, I suppose. But I don't know. It seems like I get big companies losing money, buying things to take money off the books and all that kind of stuff. This media company doesn't seem like it's that sort of thing, and it doesn't seem like this is a purchase. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it.
Okay, so we'll get to that in a second because I do have that quote from that comment. But let's start with, if it's a legitimate purchase of this media company trying to turn around a distressed asset, why would they spend $25 million on it? They could have gotten it for cheaper, right? They could have negotiated down. I mean, there's no metrics that can justify the $25 million, as far as I could tell. My
talking with industry, not surf industry, but media industry insiders, my friends in the industry, I will say, there was talk that whole package was going to get sent somewhere for free, and that was still like too much, right? Like for free.
Because it's a burden to take. And
exactly.
Then try to,
exactly. And so
you have
then
to staff it. You got to.
And so then there was like shock at we were having trouble, wanting it for free. How? Like there was mass confusion about the $25 million price tag.
Well, for the banker who brokered this deal and got this commission and is celebrating Christmas heartily this year.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah.
That was a miracle, man.
I do not know. Yeah, I guess the only thing that's valuable really in there was Men's Journal print, I suppose, which is going down, right?
They're going to cancel the print.
Yeah, they're canceling the print. But that was the only thing that had value today. It probably won't, tomorrow, but it still brings in, I think, 8 to 10 million
in ad revenue.
And for the print, which is gone.
So Com Turin wrote, one of the commenters on Beach Grit wrote, Chaz is mistakenly assuming that this purchase was in recognition of potential to monetize these brands. This is almost certainly about acquiring businesses that have carried back losses for years to use these losses as tax advantage and reduce/zero out your taxable income for future fiscal years. I
mean, maybe.
But yeah, that makes perfect sense, actually.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's what you do. They're all zombie sites anyway, more or less. I mean, Surfer, I think, who still writes for Surfer? It has one person working. What's her name? She was writing for them before they went belly up. But
Jana Irons?
No. We'll look after.
Okay.
But yeah, they have like a writer, right? So you're paying one person. I'm sure just natively you get clicks. So, like, in that kind of zombie website way, maybe it's worth a little bit.
I've Googled things in the last, let's say, month, and they're at the top of the search.
Yeah, Surfer will still come up because they have, historical, like the algorithm, I think, enjoys that they've been around for a long time. So yeah, I'm sure it clicks by a little bit of ad revenue here and there. If you're only employing one person, to do anything for it, then I could see how it could be a little, how you wouldn't just shutter it entirely and take it offline. Yeah. Like that it is probably making a little bit of money. But
so just to clarify my understanding, if that is the case, that they did it for this reason, you're using that expense to as a loss for future income, but you're going to end up paying that money. You would have ended up paying that money to the government, right?
Yeah.
So it's saying instead of giving this 25 mil to the government in the future years, at least I'll own an asset, I guess.
I think,
and maybe the asset can generate money. Because all that I'm trying to figure out is
why would you just pay the taxes?
If you're going to spend the 25 mil, yeah, why not just pay them?
Yeah,
instead of going through all this effort of doing this. But maybe it is that this thing could have value that you could resell later, or you can make it profitable if you restructure it.
The fact that they've already been gutted too, right? You're buying things that all the problem of them has been solved in terms of everybody's been fired. There's no more, right? You don't have to do anything nasty now. Like you're buying these things that have already been burned to the ground.
Right.
Like they're finished. Except I guess maybe Men's Journal is still going on, but all those other ones, it's skateboarding, snowboarding, like that. All of those things are done. There's no office for those anymore. There's no staff for those anymore.
Right. You don't have to do any of the dirty work.
Nothing. It's done.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to send an email to the Athena group in the new year, just to
hey,
get on their radar, plant a seed for the future.
Yep.
Future harvesting.
Available. Too bad I called him a naughty CEO. It's really...
It could have been worse.
Was unnecessary. Yeah.
Naughty isn't bad. Naughty almost has a good connotation to it. It's like...
He was. Did you read his naughty behavior?
No.
Yeah, he was naughty. He was a naughty CEO.
How naughty? Weinstein naughty?
No, it was like a lot of alleged being married and kissing employees at company dinner parties and stuff like that.
Basically old school commonplace.
He got Me Too'd for his classic bad male CEO naughtiness.
Right.
He rated female employees on a scale of hotness, things like that.
Exactly how Zuckerberg started Meta.
Yes.
Last night, Lauren was like, yeah, I'm watching this new documentary on it's about Playboy.
Mm.
Man, Hugh Hefner died right before the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
And had he lived, that guy would have been... Because
through it.
Yeah, all of these women are coming forward and former employees and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it was Hugh, duh.
Yeah.
Duh, it was Hugh Hefner. Of course he was lecherous. You know what I mean?
His whole brand
is this a surprise to anybody?
I didn't understand. Everybody should have looked back and said, ooh, how did we ever lionize this guy? If you're going to be shocked today, you should have said, we should have really never, put a sex peddler on a pedestal.
It's insane.
But if once you did that, to be surprised.
But and the thing is, I understand what you're saying. Society put him on a pedestal. I never put the guy on a
Sure,
pedestal.
no.
To me, and this is what I told her too. I was like, because she's like, yeah, Holly Madsen's got, like, I don't know. I go, look, this guy was selling, quote, pornography, marrying some of the women who he continually was displaying as pornography in his magazines. So he's earning a profit off of his wife's naked body. And by the way, it's not just one. He's got a dozen of them. He's got a harem of them. They're signing on to it. We're all co-signing it by either buying the pornography and celebrating, and he's getting away with it. Like, at what point did you not realize what was going on? He was putting it full on display. It wasn't like Harvey where he's saying, oh, I'm a good guy and I'm doing all of this philanthropy, but behind the scenes he was putting it on display. How is
it was his brand. It was his personal
anybody
brand.
surprised by this? And by the way,
the Holly Madison stuff of her saying that the sexual experience with him was unpleasant and stuff like that.
Duh.
Like, he's like 80 years older than you, man. Yeah. Like, what do you think? What did you think you were going to get? Like, all of that, putting it out for them, I think is in very bad taste. Well, to both.
Lauren was like, look, Holly is coming out and saying like she's got some, I forget what, mental illness. And so she was taken advantage of because at that time, having that acceptance by this group really did make her feel validated,
sure.
But they were exploiting her. And so now in hindsight, she feels like, you know, even though she opted in, and by the way, his cohorts said, no, Holly was super happy. She could have left at any time that she wanted to.
Yeah.
And I'm going, Holly is not taking any responsibility in this scenario at all. Even if all of that is true, she needs to understand that those people were asking for her, you know, like, do you agree with this or not? And once you say you do, then you own some responsibility in this. Now, additionally, I'm fully okay with the idea of canceling Hugh Hefner because this is a guy who made a living off of exploiting runaways, essentially, let's say, or have poor upbringings and all that sort of thing. So by all means, I think it's progress for society if we cancel him and don't allow people to exploit runaways,
you
know, in that way, and certainly don't celebrate him. So yeah, I'm not defending Hugh. I'm all about canceling Hugh. I don't give a crap about any of that. I'm just saying Holly does own some responsibility.
Oh, are you kidding? Exchange.
I mean, and she's rich and living a crazier, better life than she ever probably would have had access to prior. So she needs to recognize some of that.
I mean, any kind of mental illness you have, if you are marrying, becoming part of a harem, I mean, I think he only ever was married to one of them at a time, right? Legally, but
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like sure. But I think you're part of, he would call them his wives or whatever. Yeah. Like, so you're part of, you know, an 8-person entourage who are married to Hugh Hefner, who's 80 years older. If no matter what mental illness you have, you recognize that that is not a healthy dynamic.
And that you entered into this exchange on your own accord.
Yes.
And so, I mean, I'm saying from my outside, it always looked insane to me.
Yeah.
I'm confused by the person who opted into all of that and is acting surprised now.
Yeah.
Like acting surprised that, maybe I was taken advantage of. Oh, maybe.
Or society to even pay it to minds of like, yeah, duh.
I'm like, duh.
Yeah.
So you're telling me Hugh Hefner would have been canceled and Me Too?
Yeah. No.
Shocking.
Who's next?
Shocking.
Who's next?
Larry Flint? Like, you know what I mean? It's like they're going to do a documentary on Snoop Dogg, turns out, is pro-cannabis. What?
It really is so dumb. It's dumb.
True grit or clickbait crap.
Exciting.
As year of Nepo Baby controversy grips Hollywood, professional surfers jealously ponder which amongst themselves has benefited from ill-deserved gain.
It's a great question. Have you been following the Nepo Baby stuff?
Literally, again, Lauren, 3 nights ago goes, what's Nepo Baby?
Yeah.
I'm like, I have no idea. She's like, it's on Instagram all day, every day. So she Googles it. She goes, it's when you've benefited from your parents. I go, oh, nepotism.
Yeah.
It's got to be Nepo Baby, not Nepo Baby. And she's like, oh yeah, you're right. That's
Nepo Baby.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. A nepotism baby. But so it's funny. So this is, for those who don't know, is been like racing up. It's on everything, right? It's on Instagram. Everybody's talking about Nepo babies, which is, children of either musicians or actors, because there's such a huge, that Vulture, New York Magazine's like Vulture section did a cover story on this, right? So it is.
What do you mean it's huge? There's so many celebrities now that are only celebrities because their parents were famous.
There are a whole cast of models, actors,
musicians.
I think musician, you still need talent. And so you're either, not that you don't have to be an actor, but I think different, right? But so there's so many stars now who are, young, 20, whatever year olds, whose parents were ultra famous too. And so this idea of, that you got to where you got because of your parents, which is nepotism. And I was thinking about this in terms of surfers and thinking there's not that many in surf. I mean, and I'm talking about not in the comments. I think people are talking about, I'm not talking about people who have a dad who's a shaper or a, mom who's works for the WSL, something like that, right? That's not nepotism, I don't think. Like, that's your dad's a shaper, you're a surfer, great, right? Unless your dad was like, Britt Merrick's kid was on the CT, then I'd say, okay, maybe that's a little bit of Nepo
But he
Baby.
needed talent to get on the CT.
That's the thing. I mean, I guess where same as singing. So how it changes in surfing, but you would think though that, Sierra Kerr on the women's side is an example of if your dad is or mom is a pro surfer and taking you with them to all these waves, you're surfing all these waves, where the only one I could think of is Kolohe, basically.
But Kolohe has also
had talent, of course.
Talent.
But
so he didn't,
I'm not
just get where he is because of his dad.
Of course not. And I'm not saying, but
the access benefited him for sure.
But that's what I'm saying though, is you would think that there would be more.
I've got one.
Who?
Ford Archibald.
Definitely. I mean, because
he's out of the limelight now.
Yeah.
But for any listeners who were around 7 years ago,
he had a 10-year run.
Up until 7, maybe up until 5 years ago, he had a 10-year run of fully sponsored, fully exposure, full limelight with very minimal talent.
That is a great one right there. Yeah, good one. Like it.
And
Ford.
he also existed in this tiny little niche where
it was
Newport
cool guy.
Beach hipster.
Yeah.
And there was an equivalent niche in Byron Bay.
Yeah.
Where you could have pulled this off too. And it was like you could disguise your lack of talent by riding weird boards that don't turn.
Yep.
And by having a van and wearing hipster clothing.
Yep.
And having like a aloof affect.
Okay, but great call. But can you think of any more than that? It's shocking to me.
Yeah, no, you're right.
When I thought about it, it seemed like surfing is ripe for this Nepo Baby thing to just have half the kids on tour or half the kids in the magazines or half the kids we know be a product of professional surfing themselves or at some level, right?
You know who should have exploited this that didn't?
Who?
Slater's brothers.
Yeah, Slater's brothers. I mean,
they could have easily rode his coattails.
Yeah.
To B-level surf stardom.
Yep.
Just off of Slater's coattails. And they both had talent too.
They were
so they had enough talent to really fake everybody out.
I mean, I don't know why they didn't. I
think there was a little bit of like sibling rivalry, animosity. Yeah, just like if I'm not going to be as good as him then I don't want any of it.
I mean,
they mismanaged that.
Is surfing oddly immune to nepotism? Like where it doesn't really work in surfing for some unknown reason?
It could work more now than ever. It might not have worked in the magazine days, but now with Instagram, you could easily just pose and fake. And
it's true. I mean, who's got kids that we should push up as the next Nepo Baby?
I don't even want to say.
I mean, I guess Kolohe has a kid now. Who else? Who are you thinking?
There's a couple of Ho family siblings or cousins and stuff that could absolutely benefit from the Ho name
without
pose on a longboard, get cool shots, filter them, and benefit from that legacy.
Coco, go manage them. Go manage your cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take a piece.
I was thinking too, Slater, he has two brothers, right?
Yeah. Sean and I can't remember the other
longboard one. The one who's like a really talented longboarder, might be the youngest one. Super handsome too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I gotta go find pictures of this Nepo Baby.
I can't remember it.
We should DM him and tell him, hey man, you're leaving fruit on the tree there.
It might be too late though.
Yeah. Is he old now?
I don't know. He just really would have benefited from the rise.
Yeah, that's true.
right, so that's not clickbait?
No, that's legit.
Okay, cool. While we're on the subject of Florida and Kelly, quote, Arctic bomb drops on Kelly Slater's hometown of Cocoa Beach ahead of famed surfing Santa, bringing fears of mass hypothermia die-off.
This is the truth.
Is it?
Yeah. So I think they paddle out tomorrow, right? And typically, I mean, I've been looking for a surfing Santa story for a minute because I really hate it, right? Do you like surfing Santas?
No.
Like, here's the thing.
I mean, really, I think we've done this as a topic in the past, but
surfing is such a gimmick in and of itself that you don't need to stack a gimmick onto a gimmick, right? Riding a surfboard on the ocean is odd and gimmicky enough. That's all you need. You don't need to add anything to that to make it, ooh, which is surfing Santa is exactly that. Anyway, but it's true. So much like the Rose Parade, do you know why the Rose Parade in sunny Pasadena was started?
No.
Flowers on floats and whatnot.
No.
It was to show people on the East Coast how much better California was. It was
to draw them out here to buy.
It must have been a little bit of that, probably. I don't know if it was just pure rubbing East Coast nose in it, or there was some kind of, come on out, like buy real estate out here. This is the place to be. But it was legitimately for that. That's why it started. We have floats of flowers in the sun while you guys are freezing cold.
Totally.
The surfing Santa thing was much the same, right? It was the whole point as our Santas are going surfing, right? It's 70 degrees. It's warm, all this kind of stuff. You look at us, New York, while you're digging out from your snowstorm, we're surfing down here, except for this year. Guess how cold it's going to be out there?
No idea.
20 degrees.
What?
20.
In Cocoa Beach?
In Cocoa Beach, 20 to low 30s, with the water temp in like some ungodly amount of cold. And so, wow,
I didn't realize it got that cold there.
Exactly. That's why this is not clickbait also, is because a unique weather pattern that is affecting much of the states right now, but is slamming straight into Cocoa Beach too.
Wow.
20 degrees. So the event organizer, typically I think there was thousands. I don't know if thousands of surfing Santas. I think there was even, but thousands of people would come to the beach and all that. And I think there was a ton of surfing Santas. Now I think the expectation is there'll be 200 to 300 people maybe coming, and only a few hardy Santas going surfing.
In 5-6 mil wetsuits, fully suited.
Yep. That's the problem. Is I don't think if you're a Florida surfer, if you're a Cocoa Beach surfer,
you don't have the suit.
And so it's going to be the guy who lives in Maine who also lives part-time in Florida.
I think the reason why I don't like surfing Santas goes back to what we said, a wife's listener pointed out a month ago, which was, if you surf great, all is forgiven. Yeah. And it's like the surfing Santas never surf great. They're just on soft tops, barely getting to their feet, going straight. Yeah. Maybe they're hindered by the outfit.
Yeah.
But it's not like, I guess Alex Gray will post a selfie GoPro getting tubed with a hat on or something.
It's okay.
But other than that, it's just guys going straight.
Yep.
So I'm not in. I will say though, I really appreciate a good Santa suit. Because you see so many that are polyester and ill-fitting, and the beard is like ratty, flammable. Yeah. When you see one that it's like, dude, that guy spent thousands of dollars on that velvet and horsehair beard or whatever it is. I'm like, that looks luxurious. I dig it.
Seeing Barton Lynch and his like bottom turn at sunset. Did you see that Instagram photo? Barton Lynch should do a side hustle he could do a surfing Santa, right? I mean, it'd be perfect as a surfing Santa who actually can surf well. But he should also take a month off during the year and get a very nice Santa suit and just be the best Santa. Wouldn't you?
He's the jolliest of all.
I mean, wouldn't you want to stick your kid on Barton Lynch's lap?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, little fella. Oh. Yeah.
Give me a ho 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 in Australia.
Oh, I can't. How would we got to get Barton to call in and give a ho ho ho.
So
that's a lot.
There, it's close. Little known fact: I have a weekly exchange with Barton, a weekly text exchange with Barton.
Can you about what?
Whether or not he'll come on the podcast.
Oh, great. Is he always saying no?
No, it's every Monday. Hey, dude, checking your schedule this week. Oh, no, I'm too busy this week. Yeah. Too busy this week. I'm coaching athletes for whatever event's coming up. Let's do next week. Can you check in Monday? Sure thing. Monday, text him again. Oh no, I got a bunch of video I got to review. Literally every Monday for, I'm not kidding, 3 months.
That's great.
3 months straight.
Do you look forward to it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm shocked he's still replying. I just presume at some point I'm going to see that he saw it and never replied. And sometimes he does see it and doesn't reply. And I'm like, oh, I guess
that was the
it's
time.
the end of this. And then 8 hours later, I get the message from him like, hey man, I'm super sorry. How's next week look for you? I'm here for you anytime, buddy.
I love the man so much. Barton Lynch, I've never met Barton. I think, did Derek and I do a Dirty Water with Barton?
I think
Yeah,
you did.
We did.
Yeah,
Or Derek might have.
Yeah.
I've never met him that I recall. Maybe I have. But anyway, Barton has become one of my favorite people that I don't know.
Totally.
Just based purely on him being Barton.
Totally.
There must be something really good he's doing in his life
I
to
agree.
shine such a bright light out.
He's still on the ascent.
Yeah.
He's kind of like just got better and better and more interesting. And
It's the biggest of many WSL gaffes last year. I don't know how in the world did you let Barton Lynch go? Oh, based over like politics that I think don't matter, right? I mean,
totally.
Was
don't
it
matter
over
at this point.
his COVID stance, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, but I honestly don't get it. He is,
So-
if you had Barton and Mahina, I'm sorry, what's her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mahina in the booth, they're both color, but that's your color team for the year, right?
That was not a racial comment, by the way.
Yeah, no, I mean, they are color commentary. Give me 2 different straight men and those 2, and you'd have a perfect team.
Yeah, totally agree. Side note on WSL, and then one other thing about California being beautiful in the wintertime before we go to break. I forwarded you an email I got from a listener, but I got this from a number of listeners DMing me saying the WSL emailed out a survey. They emailed it to me too. I never took the survey, but it said, take our survey. We want to hear from you. How can we improve what we do? You'll get a free hydro flask.
Yeah.
There was no fine print saying while supplies last. It was just take this survey, get a hydro flask. Bunch of people took the survey, never got the hydro flask. They got a notice at the end saying we're out of hydro flasks. And they're like literally the only reason I took this survey is I know that's a $40 thing that I don't want to buy for myself. And the survey took 10 minutes.
I need to post this. I meant to post the one that you sent. I will post it today, but
it's insane.
I mean, it's such classic WSL though. It is such classic WSL to totally goof something that you didn't need to goof. You could have said in there, take the survey, win a hydro flask, while supplies last. That's what normal companies do.
Totally.
Like to leave that off.
Everybody's left the building.
Everybody would have still taken the survey. If you were going to take the survey to get a free hydro flask, you would have taken it with the while supplies last caveat.
Yes, sure.
And you would have been bummed when you got to the end and thought, I just missed it, right?
Yeah.
But you still would have taken it. You wouldn't have not taken it. Or you could have maybe been mad. Why didn't you tell me supplies were out?
All that this does is piss off your chorused fans.
I mean, it's such a self-inflicted that was unnecessary. Who does? Yeah, I mean, WSL it's these little things, right? I think people think, or they might think, that we ride them too hard. It's these little things I will say though, while I'm just about to bash away, that just shows pure idiocy. But then when you do watch the Pipe Masters, you think WSL does put on, by and large, a better product than anyone else who tries.
I think they put on a good product. Or
put out.
Yeah, but I mean, the Vulcan Pipe Pro is always epic.
It's
the
good.
Commentary for that's great.
I mean, the commentary is way better for the Pipe Pro. Sal really drug down the Pipe Masters too. Can't stand the man.
I know you can't.
Hate him.
How do you feel about Cliff Capono?
Cliff Capono was good.
I loved Cliff.
I mean, the whole thing, if you didn't have Sal there, Sal's self-satisfaction thing, his like smarmy Sal thing is so unnecessary to anything where you just we don't need that anymore. Action sports. You don't need it for snowboarding. We don't need it for surfing. We do not need to hear Sal Mascala. He can go talk about whatever his Mami Wada shop is or whatever he's doing, right? Go do that.
How do you feel about Makua?
I love Makua.
Yeah. Do you need to take that? Okay. I like Makua more now than I used to like.
Yeah.
I think he's gotten a lot better.
Makua, I think, has both insight and is his seriousness to the craft, I think is great.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I really like that he is paying attention and it's not funny for him.
Yeah. Somebody else who I think has gotten much, much better, Nathan Florence.
Oh, yeah.
He was like contest director
Yep.
or something. And so they didn't talk to him a lot.
Oh,
but when they did talk to him.
Fletcher, you mean?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Fletcher.
When like his opening was great when he was basically like, waves are crap, waves aren't great, the forecast is not great. There's $100,000 in the line, so I don't care if these guys are happy. They're going to go surf it. You hear, like,
exactly.
That's great.
But it used to be that he would hem and haw a lot, and have long pauses, and never quite fully say what he meant. Now he just says what he means, and he's like sharp, and he's to the point. So I appreciate him a lot.
Smart. Ooh, there's some Nepo babies, I suppose. Nathan
again, talent though.
Christian
and Grayson's talented.
That's true.
Those kids are all talented.
Yeah.
Or adults are all talented. The other thing I was thinking about Southern California, talking about the Rose Parade. I don't know if I've had this epiphany on air before, but I've definitely talked about it off air, which is California is, especially Southern California, is the hottest chick in high school. Back in that era when they started it, she was in her prime, right? And everybody in high school would look at her in awe. Just be like, geez, I want some of that. I am moving west.
Yep.
Because that is where it is at.
Yep.
Southern California now is that same girl aged out.
Yep.
Where it's like she never learned how to develop personality or sense of humor or any of it. And so she's 62, aged not well, and thinks that she's still the hottest chick in the room. And it's like, no, all the other people who invested in their personality and their kindness and all this sort of thing are much more interesting, much more beautiful. So the equivalent with California is bigger homeless problem than ever, bigger taxes than ever, more crowding, freeways are terrible. We pay tons of taxes. I still drive over potholes in my neighborhood and on the freeway and everywhere I go. Can't find parking. It's just an absolute nightmare. But California still thinks they're the hot 16-year-old or 22-year-old or whatever it is.
California is, what's her name from the White Lotus?
Which one?
Blonde, the older blonde.
Yeah.
That is California.
Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah, Jennifer Coolidge.
Totally. I was trying to think of an analogy and that or the equivalent, and that might be the best one.
Yeah.
Except Jennifer Coolidge has low self-esteem.
That's true. That's true.
The metaphor that I'm thinking is she's entitled.
Yeah, that's true.
She thinks that she is badass still.
That's true.
Having no
Bringing
clue.
It.
Having no clue. Nobody wants to even talk to her, much less look at her. Yeah, that is California right now. You know what I mean? We're all sitting here just paying through the nose, angry at the governor, angry at everybody and everything, going, God, I should have invested in the bookish girl who once she took off her glasses and took her hair out of the bun was smoking hot. I didn't even realize it.
Imagine how angry you're going to be when you get back on the freeway after our chat and are stuck in traffic because they're expanding the freeway again for the thing that clearly, like, scientifically doesn't work. Scientifically proven that expanding freeways do not lessen traffic.
It increases them.
But that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Making traffic during the holidays to expand the thing because it doesn't work. Then they know it doesn't work, but was California. What are you going to do? And
it literally, there's stretches of freeways that have been under construction my entire life.
Yeah.
Literally my driving life, 20 plus years for sure.
Yep.
That have never been completed.
That stretch through Huntington has been worked on forever and there's no end in sight. I drive by there and look, and you look no closer now than you did 40 years ago.
And specifically that exact stretch, Lauren was coming home from a Christmas party last Friday at 10:30
Oh, and they shut the entire freeway down?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And had to divert. Took her an hour and a half to make it 20 minutes up the road.
It is
in the middle of the night on a Friday.
Coming back from, I feel like I just dodged a bullet. Came back from Disneyland. It was like 11:15, and I always know that they love to start shutting them at like 11:30ish. And I felt it was closing right behind me. But that terror of getting on the 5 at night, knowing, because that diversion is nasty.
At that time of night, after you've been at Disneyland all day, the worst scenario ever.
Yeah.
Always check your phone. Always Google Maps or Waze. And you
don't know though. That's the problem, is because if you're headed down around 11ish, they can start shutting it like 11. If you hit a point where they've shut it, you're done.
When I left your book signing at Warwick's in La Jolla, I ran into that exact scenario, but I saw it happening. Like I don't mind patting myself on the back for this. I have great eyesight and I'm vigilant.
You saw it coming up the way.
I saw it coming before anybody else. I saw a few brake lights a mile in advance. And I go, uh-oh, I've been stuck in this situation before. Not going to let it happen again. And it was 11:30 at night.
Divert.
Boom. I can change lanes like nobody's business. And I was in the fast lane as usual. And I got all the way off the freeway and I literally got off the exit. And as I was coming up with the vantage point, I could see down.
The brake lights.
Everybody was stuck.
And so you were good. Where did you go surf a street and then get on later?
No, I was just surface street to the hotel.
Okay.
I was within distance to the hotel.
Great.
But I was like, and I got back
to
the hotel and I was like, I am riding high right. I was on cloud 9 because I was thinking of the hundreds of people stuck in midnight. Sometimes you got to pee, you're hungry, you're thirsty, whatever it is. And you're just sitting there going, no.
When you're stuck there too, who knows where the next exit is and how long it's going to take you to get there. How many people are going to be on that? I mean,
you can't put your car in reverse. Nope. There's like literally
Carmageddon.
Trapped.
Yep. The worst.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to commercial break. Come back with Barrel or Not.
Let's do it.
Chaz, Veyer watches. Let's just go ahead and showcase these fine timepieces to the cameras.
Got mine on right here. Right here in front of your face.
Just listen to this.
Oh, the sound of a bezel.
There's a certain level of crunchiness.
Satisfying.
That is very satisfying.
We're ASMRing right now.
Oh, we got to bring that segment back.
I use my bezel too.
I know. I do too.
I time my surfs with my bezel.
I know.
I'm really hoping that many people are going to have this Veyer watch under the tree for them.
Oh, I know.
That wives who have listened thought, you know what? I always trust David and Chaz because your husband will be happy.
I know.
And
I can't think of a better gift.
If you don't get one for Christmas, get yourself one for Christmas.
Treat
for pity's
yourself.
sake.
Treat yourself.
Open your presents. Thank everybody for the scarves and the whatnots. You don't even have to go to the store to get a Veyer watch. Where do you go, David Lee Scales?
VAER watches.com.
And do you put anything in to get a discount?
Great question. Yes, you do. Surf 15. Now, here's my problem. I'll just let this be known so Veyer can hear it as well. Sometimes we have we do have promo codes where you get 15%, but then freaking Black Friday comes along where they're offering 20%, and they're tracking our performance on our promo code. So I'm going to tell listeners, don't use our promo code. If there's a 20% promo code, use that instead.
Great.
We can go without this support. It's okay. Get the bit deeper discount.
Well, hopefully Veyer will approve of us doing the best by our audience for them.
Exactly. Get the deepest discount possible, but 15% is a smoking deal. And if there isn't the Black Friday going on or whatever at the time, grab the 15%, free shipping, 2-year warranty, assembled in America. These are well crafted, really well made watches, but also there's an aesthetic for everybody. They've got dress watches, they've got field watches, they've got these dive looking watches, and ours are solar powered, which is really cool too. There's a solar cell. It doesn't look freaky. You get like cars that are electric, and they design them like a freaking spaceship. And you're like, I would like to drive an electric car, except it looks like an electric car.
Yeah.
Why can't they just make it look like a regular car?
Yep.
Don't have to worry about that with these.
Nope.
These are solar powered, but they look exactly like a regular watch. Never need a battery, never need to wind it, never need to charge it. It's just automatically.
The perfect watch.
It really is.
It's got a good face on it too that doesn't scratch. I really loathe the kind of plastic face that will get all scratched up. It's got a good crystal face on it.
Yep.
Great watch.
I'm a fan.
Yep. Huge fan.
VayerWatches.com, promo code SURF15. Barrel or not, Chaz?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Christmas is in 48 hours.
Can't believe that it's here so quickly.
I'm sad that it's here so quickly.
It's done. The season is done after this. I mean, you kind of limp through to New Year's, but New Year's, then you're done. Then it's the long, bleak winter.
I'm going to make a controversial, slightly sexual reference right now. Shield the ears of the young ones. So much of Christmas is about the lead up. The payoff at the end that you're always focused on is really just kind of, I don't know, the least satisfying part, or it is satisfying, but the lead up, look, it's all satisfying. It's all great, but the lead up is so much of the fun. You know what I mean?
Getting ready. Totally. Anticipation.
Having a full month of anticipation. Yep. Same thing goes with vacation, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't even need to make the sexual reference that I was alluding to because you already know what I'm talking about.
It's just the truth, though.
The journey along is as exciting as the final.
I mean, the thing about the final that is great, but then it's over.
Exactly.
Like
refractory.
Yeah, it's done. It's finished. And so then, you can look forward again later, but you can't look forward right then. You can only look back, which looking back is not nearly as fun.
No. You have another little baby event, which is New Year's, but the 26th kind of through, it's like, you just, it's like whatever the chemistry is, it's left your body.
Yep.
And it's now replaced by this ho-hum chemistry.
Yep. And then also once New Year's is done too, then you're like really screwed because it is, again, this bleak stretch. You can maybe go on a ski vacation or something. There's stuff to look forward to, but there's no more like national excuse not to work and things, right? I mean, during the whole holiday season, from Thanksgiving to Christmas here in America, you basically have excuses to not be lazy per se, but not really grind it out each and every day. You can take a little break. That is done now.
So much of the cutthroatness that exists through the rest of the year, you're not feeling, but also your fellow man is not trying to cut your throat because they're in the holiday spirit too.
Yep.
And so it's just a better time.
Yep. It's almost done.
And then the other thing about refractory is you're never farther from Christmas than on the 26th.
It's true.
So it's the lowest of the low. You're like, not only is that gone, there's not a day in the year where I'm further from the joy.
That day. Done.
Bummer. I've been thinking about this with Austin too. Like, what are we going to do for him? Like, once the Santas are off everybody's lawn and there's no Christmas lights
to look at,
he's going to trip. He's
I know.
Going to be like, what the heck are you guys doing?
Yeah. Why did you showcase this to me?
I know.
If you're not going to keep it around.
And I was saying like, well, maybe he'll have had his fill. He's watching, I don't know if you know who Miss Rachel is.
No.
YouTube.
Yep. Don't know it.
YouTube star.
Okay.
Who makes kids television shows out of her New York City apartment, started during COVID. And she's just phenomenal. She's like the best kindergarten teacher that you could ever imagine, but with all the visuals that you can add in post-production, essentially. Perfect. She's amazing. Anyways, he's been watching Miss Rachel's Christmas episode just on rotation. The kid must have seen that episode 200 times at this point.
What happens when it goes away? I'll tell you. So my 2-year-old nephew, same with Halloween, right? So this was his first Halloween, I think, he's 2, so to almost 3, but like where it's stuck, right? Every day since Christmas didn't catch him really? Halloween. And so he is just like, hey, what did you dream about yesterday or last night, Remy? Jack-o'-lanterns.
Really?
Skeletons. And is like, everybody keeps trying to get him into the Christmas spirit, but he's been vaguely bummed that Halloween is over since Halloween ended all that time ago. We're deep in now.
It's a morbid little kid.
Yeah, but that's what's going to happen though, is Austin's going to be a little bummed for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking the flip side of that is imagine how psyched he's going to be next December on the 1st.
When it rolls around and he remembers.
He'll be like, oh.
Yeah, I remember this.
Just as soon as he forgot about it, he's going to get the reminder.
Great.
Miss Rachel, by the way.
Start watching.
She makes $400K a month
on
in
just
revenue.
Clicks.
Yeah.
How many views does she get?
She released a video 2 weeks ago. It has 10 million views.
Okay. Everybody loves Miss Rachel.
Yeah. The Christmas one that I'm watching, which she did last year, has like 85 million views.
Okay. Sweet.
I mean, it's insane.
Gotta get into that business. I wish I was a good kindergarten teacher.
I know. I mean, literally, like, she's living off kindergarten teacher money in New York City. Her husband's like a theater something, so he's in some of the videos as well. And you're like, okay, these people are just of modest income.
No.
Living in New york City, and then within 2 years,
crushing
$400K a month in revenue off
just
YouTube.
Multi-millionaires.
Like, imagine.
Yeah.
Imagine. But they deserve it. Like, they're so good. Like, I want to send her money.
Yeah.
It's insane how good she is at what she does.
I'm going to start watching Miss Rachel.
Yeah. And for any of the listeners who aren't hip to that and they have kids, let me tell you, he was always lukewarm on Coco Melon, lukewarm on Barney, lukewarm on, he'll watch it a little bit and then he'll want to play with his toys.
Yeah.
This, he is just captivated.
Great.
He'll be playing with his toys over here, but staring at the TV the entire time.
Perfect.
He's manipulating the toys with his hands.
Perfect.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
All right. Barrel or not? Cashmere.
Barrel. Huge barrel. As big a barrel as you can get.
It's overrated.
Chopu-sized cavern. Nothing's as soft.
It is so overrated.
Oh, I love cashmere. Worth every penny, David Lee Scales.
I've like...
Is this cashmere? I think I have 2 cashmere sweaters at this point in my life. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant on at the same time.
Oh, no. I should have worn both at the same time. If I would have known we were having this conversation. I love it.
It's itchy, too.
No,
that's the other thing.
Soft, supple.
And then when I wear it, I'm like, I cannot spill anything on this thing. I have to treat it delicately.
No, you just treat it rough. It's the best part of cashmere. Rough it up, man.
Can't wear it in the rain.
Do. Rough it up. Take your nice things and rough them up. Yes. If adult men out there, cashmere is like being able to enjoy whiskey or whatever, right? Like it is something that you should have a nice cashmere sweater, and you should also get a nice cashmere sweater for your wife.
Okay, sweater aside, now let me expand. Cashmere gloves.
I'm not a glove man, but if
cashmere beanie.
Cashmere beanie, yes, I have a cashmere beanie. Cashmere beanie is the best.
Because I saw it got advertised to me online. And I'm like, okay, well, considering it's not as much cashmere as a sweater, it's much more affordable. But then I'm like, no, it looks itchy. I don't think it's going to be soft. As warm as a traditional beanie. And a traditional beanie is $5.
Soft and warm. Way warmer. It's natural fibers, man. Traditional beanies, that polyester on your head? No,
I could buy a cotton one.
No, cotton's even worse. Cashmere is the best. I'm
not convinced.
I have a good cashmere beanie that is my snowboard beanie. That thing has been buried in snow more times than I can count. Always keeps me warm. Looks great. Functional.
It does look great. That's the thing.
And
it looks luxurious. I just never enjoy wearing it as much as I would enjoy just like a random article of clothing.
I'm going to get you a cashmere bean.
I'm waiting.
That's going to be my gift to you.
I'm waiting.
Okay. Coming. Barrel.
Okay. Well, I have a cashmere. Ex-girlfriend worked for James Purse. You know that retailer? Very expensive clothing. And at some point she gave me a sweater. It's literally a $500 sweater,
Cashy?
It's cashmere, but I'm like, I wear it and I'm like, this is literally no different and possibly worse than a $30 sweatshirt that I own.
No, that's just a bad sweatshirt then.
Yeah. No, it isn't though. That's the thing. It's legit.
I mean, does it fit well?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not offended by it. I'm just like, for the price differential, it's not warmer. It's not really softer. It's not more comfortable. It looks fancier, I guess.
You're going to have to bring this cashmere sweater in for further examination.
Okay. I'll bring it in next week.
Excited.
Don't dirty it up.
I won't.
I heard what you were preaching. Barrel or not, earmuffs.
Barrel for women, no barrel for men.
I'm going full not. They don't serve a purpose anymore.
They warm your ears?
Yeah, but you could put a beanie on. And
that's true, but
it warms more than just your ears.
But if you're a woman who has like a nice Christmas holiday hairdo that you don't want to mess up, and also wife has a pair of earmuffs that are like some crazy, they're like cool looking. There's like cool things you can do for earmuffs if you're a woman. Like it looks like exploding fur.
I was thinking we just need to ditch them all. Like ditch the thing that you put your hand, the
muff.
Muff.
Yeah.
Right. They're both muffs, turns out. Earmuffs, hand muff.
Yeah.
Gloves can replace that. A beanie can replace the earmuffs. I just think the earmuff, maybe it served a purpose at some point in history because I watch old movies and they wear them. I'm saying ditch them now. We don't need them anymore.
I think for women, if you're a woman, keep your earmuffs. Expand your earmuff usage and wardrobe. If you're a man, though, I'm even going to go barrel on a man now that I think about it. I think I've seen some classy. Oh, they have those like nerd tech ones that people in New York wear and stuff. Have you seen those?
No.
It's like an earmuff that goes behind the head there. The strap is...
Oh, I have seen that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like that.
See, my mom came over wearing... It was almost like a scarf, but it's like a head thing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a full beanie because the head was... top of her head was still exposed. And I thought, that looks cool. It's a great look.
And it's functional.
It's functional. It warms your ears, but it also warms more because it's wrapping your head. Not as much as a beanie, but I'm like, that looks cool. But the earmuff does the least amount of work and somehow has the most credit.
I'm going to Still though, those earmuff has a place in the women's.
All right.
Say it doesn't in the men's.
Agree to disagree.
Okay. Wow. We were 2 for 2 today.
I know, that's true.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see
final
on
one.
the third one. The rubber match deal breaker right here.
Let's see.
Gift swapping. So this is like the white Santa scenario. You're in a group of people. You all bring gifts. And I don't even know the rules of the game.
So I just played.
You know what I'm saying is you are
just
allowed
played,
to steal.
You're allowed 2 steals.
Something,
and then once the present gets stolen twice, then it can no longer be stolen. Blah, blah, blah. No barrel.
Dumbest thing in the world.
Don't like it.
Dumbest.
You're almost guaranteed to get something crap. If you get the good thing, you make everybody else feel like crap. Like if you have because there's inevitably one gift that people want. And if you get that gift, I don't know if, people are looking, oh, cool, you got that thing, right? People are bummed at you for getting the good thing. The good thing is never that good. Ooh, did you hear about the woman who won the lottery tickets?
That's why I brought this up.
Yeah.
So, some woman swapped at the very final swap for the lottery tickets, scratched them off, and I think it was a $70,000.
No, it was 170.
170.
Yeah.
Okay. So that money was in that person's hands up until the last minute. And I was like, man, that girl, just spread it around. However many people are here, let's divide it up.
You have to, I feel. Like she didn't, I don't think, as the story went, right?
I mean, you say you would. I don't know if I would either.
But that's the thing, though, is if imagine you're the person who gave that up, the pit in your stomach, or got it stolen from you. Imagine the person who got it, the kind of pit in your stomach. Like you really, truly did rob $170,000 from somebody. Like this
is adding unnecessary contention to the holiday party.
And it's only contention.
Yes.
Like unless the only good ones I've seen is if it's a proper kind of gag gift thing, which then it's just who wants more junk in your house? Who wants gag stuff?
Not exactly. That's the other thing. The gifts are never great gifts.
No.
It's not like, oh, it's an iPad. We're all bringing iPad quality gifts and we all need iPads. And so no, it's the opposite of that. It is, let's just buy gifts to do this exchange. Okay, well now you're buying nonsense junk.
Yep.
And it's a $30 limit of some stupid plastic that we don't need in the house, right?
Yep.
The whole purpose of gift giving is to think of somebody. It's thoughtful. So this is the opposite of thoughtfulness.
No.
This is all
It's what's the least I can get away with? So the one I was at, one person always prides themselves apparently on getting their gift like oohed and awed over and stolen right away. So went well above the budget. Like I think it was a $30 budget. The gift that I brought, wife and I, it was the wife's Christmas party. But looking around the house with nothing, and I grabbed a copy of my book. So how bad is that? Anyhow, that's what I brought.
Signed copy.
Didn't even sign it. That's our gift. This guy had like a Don Julio 1942 or something like that, right? It's not like insanely expensive, but
everybody wants that.
Yeah, and what does a bottle of 42 go for? Like
$150 or something?
Yeah. But the budget was supposed to be 30.
Right.
So his flex was, I'm bringing the thing people want, right? So great. So, it gets stolen twice and it's whoever ends with it
has to open it and everybody else gets a shot.
I mean, that's what they should do.
That's what they should do.
For nice gifts and or for lottery gifts. Yeah. But if you're thinking about hosting one of these parties, cancel those plans today.
Totally agree. It's literally like we're fat, wealthy Americans who have no problems. And so we have free money to spend. So we're just going to add complication and contention to this
quality things.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is.
Bummer.
Yeah. You know what I do recommend though? If you do have a work people that you have to buy gifts for, colleagues that you need to buy gifts for, friends that you need to buy gifts for, find one good thing, buy 10 of them, and everybody gets the same thing.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. For my buddies that we get together all the time, I'm getting them all salt.
Great. Yeah. Good salt.
Maldon salt. It's excellent. It's as good as salt as you could buy. You buy a little package like this in the gourmet grocery store, and Seaside Market probably has a little box like that. It's like $12 for a little box. Pro tip, go on Amazon. You can buy a 3-pound jug for $25.
Great idea.
And so I see the little jars in my buddies' houses, and I'm like, why are they spending $12 on that when I've got the jug at home? So this Christmas, everybody gets a $25 jug of salt.
Great.
And it'll last you throughout the year. I'll get you another one next year.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect gift.
Doesn't go bad.
Thoughtful.
Yeah. So there
I
you
like
go.
it.
Yep. Full of all sorts of advice here.
I mean, the best show. That's why you listen.
Yep.
I hope you're sitting around the Christmas tree bummed right now listening to this show. Just wrapping paper, just nothing to look forward to.
Do you wrap gifts?
I personally don't. I mean, I'm such a bad rapper. I am the worst rapper ever. I mean, I have to, right? Time to time, but I try to dodge out in as many ways as I can.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
That's on brand for sure. I love rap. I don't love it, but I take pride in rapping.
Yeah. I try to take pride in it. Even when I sit down and really give it a go, everything's all wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, great show. Album Surfboards, thank you very kindly. Veyer Watches, thank you very kindly.
Swing by Album if you're in town. If you're looking for gifts. They have more than just surfboards here. They have leather goods, all kinds of stuff here.
Really fancy sandals.
Yep.
We should have asked them what their hours are so we could let people know. But hey, if you're in San Clemente, swing by at least today, maybe tomorrow as well, the 24th.
Also, somebody broke in like not that long ago. So if you're running late, I mean, just saying, it's happened before.
Nope.
So
they improved security for sure. And then, of course, beachgrit.com, surfsplendorpodcast.com. And we'll be back with one more show before the end of the year.
Great.
Merry Christmas to all.
Merry Christmas.
Bon voyage.